G'day, gang. I wanted to talk today about, I think, the stupidest topic that I have talked about so far: swear words. Right, so this is very, very specific. I'm not talking about racial terms. I'm not talking about terms in which that degrade a person of a specific demographic or group. I'm specifically talking about English words for body motions and like gross things, basically. That's English swear words are particularly tame, just genuinely tame. It's really silly. And I think that the thing that is most silly about swear words is that there are tens of examples of words that mean the exact same thing that we don't ban. Like poop is a perfectly appropriate word to use in most circumstances, but there's another word that you can't use that I would like to use because I enjoy swearing, but I know that YouTube has issues with swear words, and being new to YouTube, I don't know the extent of it. I've slipped up a few times in my videos, but ex-sailor swears like a sailor, you know, unsurprising. But I think there is exceptions to the fact that this is an absurdity and a stupid situation, and I think that that involves young children. I think it's really easy because young children don't understand the context of word usage. They see you saying something like you'll drop something and swear, and then they find it funny because they see a abhorrent, unusual behavior, and then they'll laugh, and then they'll attach that word to things that aren't appropriate. So I think using words that people deem to be problematic, I think is completely understandable about very young children, but not children who have an understanding of what words mean, because then that's a teaching moment, and it's really important to let them understand, no, that word has different meanings in different contexts, kid. But I think, the fact that we assign such discomfort to some words with the same meaning as others is always confused me. And I have been in spaces where some of my friends have used words that people have deemed inappropriate in front of older children, and parents have actually gotten quite aggressive with them, and it's a really bizarre situation to me, because again, I understand, as a parent, I get how they copy everything. I get it. But older kids, that is a thing in which that you can have a teaching experience where you can say, you can explain the way in which that it's viewed. So you can say, wow, that person, is a bit low class, because that is the perception of people who swear, which isn't my personal perception, but I understand that that's the perception of those people who are anti-swearing. But swear words, honestly, they're just so pathetic. I don't understand why we have such a problem with them. I think one of the things that's really weird, and there are a bunch of different circumstances in which that we establish a set of core rules and expect other people to follow them, when it's just really silly rules. I think having rules for yourself and your family and the people around you, and what within your own social bubble, is completely appropriate. But when you're scolding a stranger who's an adult about something that is completely unharmful, is absolutely bizarre to me. I don't understand that cultural behavior, and I see it a lot in English-speaking culture. We don't do it here in the Netherlands. People will say the most toxic and awful things to each other, and parents don't usually scold them, because here there is the cultural expectation that you will tell your kids not to say those certain things, again, of an age in which that they understand. Little kids they're really not developed little brains. They really don't know what they're doing. That's not on them. So that's a completely different circumstance. But how did we get here? I want comments on this one, please. As a swearing enjoyer, please help me understand. How did we get to the point where we decided that certain words are completely to be banned, and other words are completely acceptable and normal words. And how do we get to have these two sets of rules in society that specifically defines things? Like, you can understand that there are, well, maybe there is like an own group bias about how these words come about. So the reason that, poop is an acceptable word is because certain people from a demographic were using it, whereas, the word that rhymes with spit is not appropriate because people from another demographic were using it, and maybe it just comes down to that. But if people do have like more stories on like culturally inappropriate things that have no harm, I would love, love, love to hear it. Please, please just spam me in the comments on this one. It's completely very interesting to me. I think the swearing in general is very interesting. In particular, because I love swearing so much. It's so much fun. But there are people that get really mad at it. Like, English speaking culture just gets really upset. And I personally try to respect the fact that if I'm in a space with younger people or with other people or who don't like it, or if I'm in like a professional capacity, I try not to use those words because of the perception that has them. But that's other people's bias, not mine. That's other people's expectations. Because I personally, again, coming from a workplace where it is very common to swear, it's completely different than going to these quote-unquote professional workplaces, because don't tell me the military is unprofessional. I will fight you. But I think that, it's just so weird, right? And there are a lot of examples. I think swearing is the most accessible and easy one in English-speaking culture because of how polar and opposed people are to swear words. And there are some words that I'm like, yeah, I know that one has extra spice on it, so it's not always appropriate, especially when bantering with strangers. When you banter with strangers and they drop some of the heavier words, I'm all out there maybe not. But general swear words, I think, is, if someone tells me to fluff off, I'm usually like, okay, cool. It's the same to me as go away. It doesn't bother me. But I know that a lot of people take that very personal because we have a lot more stigma on certain words, and we have a lot of emphasis in certain circles to not use them. And I think also we throw that back against people when they use that, so we can easily say, wow, you must be really, really mad you dropped that specific word. I mean, I myself, I just throw it around like it's nothing. So it does, very much depend on the person. But maybe I'm a complete outlier, and this is something that's a lot less common. But I know that a lot of my friends are in a similar situation where they quite like using inappropriate language, quote unquote. But I'm also in, a lot of small niches. So maybe that's just a different situation. But yeah, very interested. I'm very interested in other culturally, other rules and other rule systems that get applied upon everybody. I know there's a lot of stuff that I'm not interested in, the stuff that's for safety or that has reason, unless we can point out those reasons. That would be really cool if you had some examples of stuff that had justification. I'd like to hear that. But if you have examples of behaviors where people say stuff and where people have expectations of behavior that for no reason that we can find, oh, please tell me. That would be really cool. And tell me your opinion on swearing. Do you think that these swear words are becoming more or less common? Do you think people are getting more funny about it or less funny about it? What's your experience with it? And have you had an experience that was really negative and embarrassing, like when my friend got yelled at by an adult not to use a bad word in a public space because there was an older child around, for example? Very interested in that because I felt very embarrassed in that instance, and more so just that, I mean there are too many layers to unpack, but basically Have you been told off by a stranger because you use language that they deemed to be inappropriate? Or any sort of social guidelines that you might not necessarily agree with? I'm very interested to hear what people think about this one. Please, I really want to get conversation going. I genuinely do. And this one, I love swearing, so it's very near and dear to my heart. Please tell me what you think. Okay, bye, gang.